You're about to listen to an excerpt of Secret City Geek Lab, Orange County's best in geek news and pop culture features, broadcasting live every Sunday at 3 p.m. on KTSTFMAnaheim.com. David and Brenda are perfect for each other, and everyone knows it, except for David and Brenda. After their painful breakup, they each endure an individual purgatory. For David, a self-destructive artistic endeavor, and a relationship with an immature beauty who has taken to sleeping with his best friend. For Brenda, a failing acting career, eviction notice, and a boyfriend who just doesn't do it for her, until chance brings them together on the streets of New York at the worst possible time. David invites Brenda to the opening of his first photography exhibit, and it sets the stage for a night of drinking, flirting, and truth-telling, leading to an untraditional and risky proposal of how they can be together without getting back together. In Stereo is in theaters now. You can watch it in Pasadena, in LA, New York, and various markets, but also it's on in-demand, video on demand at the moment. So you can also find it on iTunes, Amazon, and everywhere you can basically download a movie. And we had a chance to speak with the writer-director of In Stereo, Mel Rodriguez, and here is that interview. Okay, I'm with Mel Rodriguez, the third, and you are the writer and director of In Stereo.
Yeah.
And we saw that last at Dance with the Films. It's coming out in theaters July 3rd and on VOD as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, well, can you tell us what In Stereo is about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you know, what it is at heart, I guess, it's about people bouncing around in their 20s and 30s making bad choices as they sort of find their way through life. Specifically, it's about a couple of 30-somethings, David, a frustrated photographer, and Brenda, who's an embittered actress. And when we meet them, they're in a relationship until Brenda pops that question, you want to move in together? And that sort of freaks them out. It freaks David out, at least. And then we cut to a year and a half later, and we see that they've broken up about that. And we end it with each of them in sort of a broken up kind of narrative. You see David first, and then, you see David's story, where we see what's going on with him. He's seeing a new girl, kind of figuring his way through a kind of photography project that he's trying to make. And then we visit with Brenda, and we see that she was once a really good hot commodity as an actor, and then she sort of flamed out because of her attitude. But she's clearly not in a great place mentally. And then they hook up, they see each other again on the street after a year and a half, and there's something clearly still there. And we sort of start investigating the modern relationship and how people are trying to find ways to exist and not turn into, their parents, I guess. A lot of thrashing around, and some of it's based in immaturity, some of it's based in just insecurity about, everyone's getting divorced, it's a fact. Not everybody, but half of people are getting divorced, and people of my generation are kind of wondering, is it the thing to do? Just go out, get a partner, and have a family, and just get on with it. Whereas there are questions that come with that as far as complacency and wanting to continue to be able to thrive, and not just feel like you're servicing a day job and servicing all the needs of a child only. And how do you sort of identify as a human being, as an individual, amidst all these sort of societal pressures,
Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of heavy when I put it that way, but...
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I picked up, was that this is not your traditional love story, and it doesn't go down a traditional path of, you not only look at the lives of your two main characters, but even a little bit of your supporting cast as well. What is this?
Yeah, no, I remember it. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to ask you what the significance of the title In Stereo was.
Well, that's an interesting one. I remember writing a phrase in the writing of it where I remember watching some film that employed an interesting sort of structure with the sound design, and I thought there was a way to kind of do that in a way that is done with sound and visuals. Mm-hmm. Originally, I had really intended to really stylize the hell out of this movie in a way that was shot with really symmetrical looking shots and
right.
and really created a production design to where you could like symmetrical design as well as the wide angles, and kind of play on the stereo, the left and right, and sort of that kind of stuff visually, as well as with some interesting sound design. But that stuff takes a lot of time and money, and those two things that may as well be unicorns on an indie set. You just don't have either. So you have to kind of have to adjust. And so I still wanted to keep that metaphor alive. And I remember just writing some sentence I was writing. I was sort of doing the monologue, the VO of David as he's following Jennifer. And it's sort of a perspective shift. When you're seeing something from a different angle, it's almost as if you're hearing the right speaker. As you're listening to some good music where it's mixed in a way where you hear the horns on the right side or the drums on the left side. And, you're finding out something new from wherever it is that you're standing. And so it's sort of a rocky metaphor, I'll admit. But it was enough to play with an experimentation, with the spirit of experimentation that I was entering into the film. I wanted to take something a little different. As you can see, it's like you said yourself. It's not a typical love story. I wasn't interested in making a love story. I don't much like love stories. I don't much like romantic comedies. But I do love Woody Allen films, and I love Mike Nichols films. Those guys, they don't make movies. They don't make romantic comedies. They make films about the human condition that involve love and loss and stuff. And that's kind of what I was trying to do. And you end up incorporating a little of your own philosophy in there. But for the most part, it's just wanting to create a piece of work that speaks to the experiences that some friends of mine had, some that I had, and personalize it as much as you can to communicate a story that's not to mention communicate a story that's easy to film.
Yeah.
As a filmmaker, you have to kind of make sure you're making something that doesn't involve a lot of crazy setups and shots and special effects. So
Yeah, speaking of that, I mean, that's one of the things that really caught me about the film, especially being an independent film, is just how well produced it is. I mean, you go to these film festivals and you can definitely walk into a movie and say, well, this feels like an independent film with the I guess the camera shots and things like that. But this really felt like a legitimate big budget film. Was your movie deceptively low budget, or did you have a little more money than most people have?
No, dude. It was very low budget. I mean, it's not like micro budget, like, I don't want to speak specific numbers, but it wasn't like $20,000, something like that.
Right.
But it also wasn't nearly $1 million. It wasn't nearly $1 million. So you can take a guess from that. It was way under $1 million and a little bit over 25,000. So, but that comes from planning. And also, I mean, you can't take credit for everything. There was a great crew, and you can't take credit for everything. Also, to speak besides the fact that you're shooting in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, New York is its own sort of production design that really, really helps. But you also have to shoot it right. And our DP was excellent. Brian Cox is a guy that I've worked with before on commercial stuff, and he's my guy. And I think he really wanted to show off some stuff that he can do. And I gave him the shot with this movie because I knew I wanted to really do something with the camera, and he was itching to do something with the camera. So we wanted to approach this like we're making as big a movie as possible with sweeping camera moves and trying to do some long takes and stuff, and stylize the movie without cannibalizing the story or the propulsion of the narrative. We don't want to get in the way of it. We still wanted to stylize it, still tell a story. It's just like we want to have fun making a movie too. I mean, I love all the greats that really employed interesting camera use, and to the degree that I could get away with it, I wanted to utilize our very limited tools to make it look dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show how far a little money can go these days.
Oh yeah, the jump between having $10,000 to make a film to having $200,000 to make a film, you can really see the difference. I mean, you can really do something that looks Hollywood style. To a degree, it also takes the right team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's especially true. I mean, the other end of it also is your cast. It's like I'm thinking specifically of your two leads. Really good actors. Really, they play I guess it's Micah. Plays a very terse kind of let me see. How do I describe him? One that kind of can get under your skin if you allow him to. Now, talk to us about the cast. Your two leads.
Well, no, look, these guys were given the task of playing rather, some ways unlikable characters. I mean, I'll admit it. I happen to enjoy watching films with unlikable characters. I don't know what the real big deal is with people saying that, oh, I didn't like him, or I think that oftentimes people say they don't like them.
Right.
I think that they're not liking is probably the actor.
Yeah.
Because I love unlikable characters. I think they're the most interesting people to watch, and if you can write something or have a showcase where an actor can tap into their sort of darker sides, that's more interesting to me than likable heroes. I mean, it's always what I like about films. My favorite films have the most sort of despicable characters, and not in the evil sort of horror type way, but more in the ones where they're morally corrupt or selfish or have become have fallen from grace. They're much more interesting to me to watch. And in this case, these guys are just abrasive. They're abrasive because they're sort of figuring out their lives and not satisfied. And to a degree, I can understand, people probably can relate to that or are sick of seeing that. I certainly know the films that, you can see and watch and you go, oh, God, another one of those. And, maybe ours is that to some people, but it is coming from a place of introspection at a certain point of my life, as well as other people's lives. So I know it's not so singular that it can't be understood or related to. And all the actors that came to it, they all say, look, I've been this guy, or I know this guy, or I've seen that guy. The character of Chris is also one of my favorite characters, actually. I really love that he's this sort of empty shell that doesn't have a lot of his own stuff, and he's jealous of David, kind of, and he wants to play with David's toys. He's always fucking around with his life. He's got nothing of his own, really. He's got a lot of money, but nothing to call his own.
Yeah.
So these characters, when actors can do a good job with this material, I think that's when it can really kind of fly. If you do a bad job, though, it really falls flat, and I think these guys really did well.
Yeah, I mean, I like characters. I mean, likable heroes, villains, whatever. What makes a good character is the ability to connect with them in some way.
Connect with them, and exactly.
Right, and then that falls true for likable characters. You don't want a bland, likable character. You want them to have a little bit of a flaw that you can connect with, because hey, we're a little flawed too. Okay, so now, so now your movie's coming out. It's coming out on VOD as well as theaters here in Southern California, across the country. Would it have been hard to get this movie made without the VOD option, VOD distribution?
I think so. I mean, we were lucky in the sense that we had one sole backer for the film, because he saw a short film that I'd made. From this material, I took pages out of the script and shot a short film, and he really liked it. And we just got lucky. I was in the right place. I mean, look, it took a long time. It's not like I got lucky off the bat and suddenly I'm making the movie. I've been trying to make a film for a lot of years, and this is part of the lesson of persistence. I mean, you keep kind of going, and suddenly you're in a position where you're ready to do something, and you have something to show for it, and then it kind of happens that way. But also, the VOD market has kind of taken over for the DVD market. There's no DVDs anymore, and that used to be the thing that would, be nice, and it would make the distributors and studios feel a little more comfortable when they'd have a movie that was hard to market or sell. They can always make their money on DVD. VOD is doing that, and it's a lot easier. And so, for sure, it's for indie filmmakers. It's really ideal, because your movie can, if you get into these VOD these aggregators, if you get in with the DVD system, suddenly your movie's available in 50 million households. Like that.
And now it's coming on. As you're saying, now the biggest part is the marketing push, which is what you're in the midst of doing.
that's what we're doing. The thing is to get the word out to those 50 million people to be able to, reach them, and hopefully they like this kind of stuff and they'll check it out. But that's really the hard part, when you don't really have a big marketing budget. So we're just doing grassroots, and hopefully word of mouth and social media and all that, and that's this kind of stuff.
Okay, well, that's great. Well, okay. Well, congratulations. In Stereo is in theaters. I definitely suggest trying to see it in theater if you can, but if not, it's available on, I guess, iTunes and Amazon and all the major VOD distributors.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, thanks a lot. This is Mel Rodriguez, writer and director of In Stereo.
Well, that's our interview with writer-director of In Stereo, Mel Rodriguez III. If you want to know more about In Stereo, go to instereothemovie.com. Again, it's in a limited release in just major theaters, or theaters in major cities. Also, you can see In Stereo right now, video on demand, iTunes, Vudu, Amazon, whatever. Go out and see it now. Again, go to instereothemovie.com. Don't miss your favorite movie reviews and interviews. Subscribe to this YouTube channel, and be sure to like and comment about this excerpt. Enjoy.